Broadcasting from down on the Bayou, it's the AverageMarks Pro Wrestling Podcast, a proud member of the Roar Network, powered by thegorillaposition.com. And now your hosts, Michael Leander and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to the AverageMarks Pro Wrestling Podcast, episode number 72. We are broadcasting live from the Collar and Elbow Studios. You can save 10% off your entire collar and elbow order with our code, TheAverageMarks. That's one word, no spaces. And because last week you talked about the ladies and yellow shirts,
yes,
we're going to cater to the ladies. I don't know if we have lady listeners, to be honest with you. We have lady fans on Facebook.
I hope we do. I'm pretty sure that as far as people who actually listen to the show, I would say it's a sausage fest, to say the least.
It's a wiener schnitzel?
Yes, exactly. But I'm sure there might be a female listener here and there, but I'm pretty sure it's, I would say, at least 90% male.
Well, since it's a sausage fest, buy this for your girl.
Yeah, if you have a girl.
Yeah.
A lot of girls. I mean,
oh, God.
I don't have one.
Yo.
I mean, I'll be the first one to say I don't have one.
Are you shooting on our listeners?
I'm not shooting on our listeners. I'm just saying if you have one, you
Holy
can buy
cow,
this.
what just happened?
I don't have anybody to buy this item for, so I'm just, save your money. People, buy something for you if you don't have a woman. Treat yourself.
Right, you can buy anything on this website. It's just we're going to promote a female product right now. It's the mirror-cropped thin hoodie. It was $29.99, but guess what, Patrick? It's on sale.
Yeah.
And you can save 10% off on the sale price. Right now, it's $24.99. It's pink. It says collar and elbow in reverse. That's why they call it the mirror cropped. And it's cropped on the stomach. So if you do have a girl and she's in good shape, it's going to show the belly button.
Yeah, and if you have a girl that's not in shape, I want to look elsewhere.
It's going to show the muffin top.
Yeah, it's going to show the muffin top. So if you are embarrassed of your girl, if you have one, their muffin top, don't buy this particular item. Buy something that covers maybe the belly a little bit more, because this shows, because some girls they're a little, what's the word, insecure about their bellies sometimes. So if your girl has a muffin top and she's somewhat insecure, don't buy her this, because she will be very PO'd at you.
Yeah, she's going to be like, why is part of this missing?
Yeah, where's the rest of this shirt? But for the girl who's modeling it on the website, she looks very nice.
Yes.
And it's pink too. It's a very cool looking.
It's very girly.
What they call it, a crop top, you said?
Mirror cropped thin hoodie.
Mirror cropped thin hoodie. Yeah. So for all the lady wrestling fans out there, if you do have a girl that likes wrestling, any girl I've ever gone into or I've ever encountered, I tell them I like pro wrestling, and they're just like, ew. They just
it's almost like you're telling them, I love Star Trek.
Yeah, and then they're like, it's fake, right? And I'm like, yeah, so is everything else you watch on television.
Yeah, what did you just say to me?
So is everything else you watch on television. So moving along.
Yeah. Why don't you go take a bump on 2x4s?
Yeah, well, that's just how some of the women are these days.
I don't think that's the size of the boards. 2x4s would be too small.
But I do know a couple of women that are into wrestling. So certainly there are women out there, of course, that do like wrestling. Whenever they came to the Civic Center here, I ran into actually a few of them that liked wrestling too. So tried to let them know, hey, we have a podcast. The Average Marks, go check us out.
You probably heard of us.
Yeah, you probably, we were kind of a big deal. We only have like 900 something, Facebook likes, but we about to hit the 4 digits.
Yeah, we global.
We work it towards that 1,000, but nonetheless, collar and elbow, great product for the girls. We always talk about the guys' products, all the guys' t-shirts and everything. Finally, something for the females. So there you go.
Well, Collar and Elbow, you got your time today.
Absolutely.
Be sure to go to collarandelbowbrand.com, check out this shirt. But just like you were saying, if you don't have a girl, you can get something for you. They got some awesome new designs on here. They just released their new spring collection, so it's absolutely amazing. Everything's on sale. Go check it out right now. collarandelbowbrand.com. At checkout, save 10% on your entire basket with our promo code, TheAverageMarks, one word.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get like double the sale there. You get the sale price plus the discounted sale price if you put our code in.
Exactly.
So you save a lot of money. All right. It is Cinco de Mayo. So happy Cinco de Mayo to everyone out there. Today, our first show of May. And real quickly, we're not going to really talk about it today, but certainly this month, Double or Nothing coming up in just about 3 weeks now. A little less than 3 weeks away, as a matter of fact.
Before we get into the rundown, we have from Twitch, we have some Hispanic listeners.
Really?
Remember the guys that were talking Spanish to us?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. So, hola.
Hola.
Since it's, you know.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
I feel like we should have some cerveza in here.
You're right.
I don't know if I would drink it.
I probably wouldn't drink it either. Usually Sundays, if I drink, it's more so on a Friday or Saturday, and therefore I am recovering on a Sunday to go back to my full-time job tomorrow. But, one or two is not bad. A good old Mexican beer, maybe like a Modelo or a, what's the other one I'm thinking of, Corona or a Dos Equis.
I don't know. People say Corona tastes like pee.
Well, a lot of people put lime in the Corona, and that kind of spices up the flavor a little bit. It gives a little twist or something. I don't know. Yeah. I went for my senior trip. That was about 10 years ago now. Mm-hmm. We went to Cancun, and when we got on the bus to go to the hotel, and the first thing, and at that time I was 18 years old, I had not really drank a lot of alcohol, if any at all. And they gave me a Corona, and I remember drinking it, and I was like, this crap is nasty. Like, this is disgusting.
Was it cold or was it warm?
I cannot remember. I don't remember. I want to say it was warm.
Probably
because,
so.
Yeah, and I just remember it not being that good.
Yeah.
I think I drank like daiquiris the rest of the time because I was like, it's like you guys just kind of ruined the beer for me. But nonetheless, it was a good time.
Yeah.
But on today's show, on this Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 2019, John Moxley has returned to the world of pro wrestling. We'll talk about that. For those of you who do not know who John Moxley is, the guy formerly known as now Dean Ambrose. Mm-hmm. Also, we got an update on a few WWE superstars, Leo Rush, Luke Harper, and Daniel Bryan. A few things going on with those three guys. We'll talk about that. Also, the Money in the Bank participants, the ladder match participants for both the men's and women's on SmackDown and Raw have been announced. We'll talk about those and maybe kind of make a case for who could possibly win, walk out of those two matches as the Money in the Bank winners. And also Ryan Boman, head of the GorillaPosition.com. He will he joined you, actually, and you guys talked about Impact's Rebellion. That happened a week ago, so we'll have that for you. And then also we're going to talk about last couple of nights, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestling Dontaku took place. Some big matches took place there. We're not going to spoil anything, but we'll let you know what happened as far as what matches went down, so you guys can go back. Because literally, they just wrapped up yesterday, so we don't want to give any spoilers for that. We'll talk about that. And then also coming up, the Best of the Super Juniors tournament is coming up as well. We have all the participants in that, and that leads into Dominion on June the 9th, another one of New Japan's big shows. And speaking of big shows, around that time, WWE made an announcement about their Saudi Arabia show. We'll talk about that as well. And if we have some time, we got some rumor mill stuff that we're going to get into as well, including some contract situations, some news about Ryback as well. And then a lot of contract talk in Rumor Mill coming up here. So if we have time, we'll get to that. We're down. We're cut to an hour this week because we will be on we are on KZM Radio this week, so we have to keep it to an hour. But all that's coming up here on the Average Marks, episode number 72 for May 5th, 2019.
Right. Shout out to our radio peeps. What's up? It's good to be back on. We've been off for 2 weeks.
Yeah, the owner of KEZM, Bruce Merchant. He's been on the road the last few.
He's a vagabond. He's a traveling man.
Yeah. Well, he does McNeese baseball on the radio whenever they go on the road. So they went to Abilene, Texas. They go to Conway, Arkansas. And so whenever he's not here, we have nobody to upload the episode at the radio station. So, but he's here this weekend. The McNeese Cowboys are playing at home, so we'll be on KEZM Radio this week.
Follow us on social media at The Average Marks, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. Also, check us out on Patreon. You would have been able to hear the Ryan Boman interview. I think I dropped it on there Wednesday. Mm-hmm. If you had the B Show tier, which is $5 a month, you can hear this episode early. If you're listening to this on Sunday when we dropped it on Spreaker, you're late. Mm-hmm. All of our patrons were able to listen to it that are at the Glorified Jobber or above tier, which is $3. Or above. They were able to hear it on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Also, if you just want to help out the show, you like our content, but you don't have that much money to spend a month, and you got $1 that you can swing your boys' way to help keep this content going, we got one of those too. It's called Jerk the Curtain.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So check us out, www.patreon.com/TheAverageMarks.
So whether you're poor or rich, we got a plan for you.
We got you.
All right, let's talk about one of the big stories the past week in pro wrestling. Of course, Dean Ambrose's WWE contract has expired, and he has officially now left the company. And I don't know exactly when his contract was officially over with WWE. I'm assuming it was at the end of April, which would have been April 30th. Well, May 1st at midnight, he drops a video on Twitter, and I don't know if I couldn't even remember if this was the same Twitter that was Dean Ambrose's Twitter, or if this is a completely different Twitter account dedicated to John Moxley.
Yeah, because at the time when the video dropped, it only had like 300-something thousand likes.
Well, anyway, the John Moxley Twitter page released a video of, basically there's a video of John Moxley.
Great production, by the way.
Well,
top notch.
It's funny you say that because I did read a report from Sliced Wrestling on Twitter. Now, for anybody who is very active on wrestling Twitter, knows that what Sliced Wrestling, it's almost like, when Dave Meltzer says something, you take it with a grain of salt. When Sliced Wrestling...
Screw that dude.
When Sliced Wrestling tweets something, a report, they don't say who their sources are or anything. They just report things themselves. And, people will always say, who are your sources? Who are your sources? And sort of like call them out for the stuff that they post. And Sliced Wrestling, they just block them, apparently, whoever. and at one point, I think around WrestleMania weekend, it became like a thing for people who are very active on wrestling Twitter to go and try to get blocked by Sliced Wrestling. But nonetheless, Sliced Wrestling posted this tweet, and if I could pull it up here real quickly, apparently it was in regards to the John Moxley video. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick.
Has anybody pulled up their numbers, like how often they are correct, like a percentage, like they do at Meltzer all the time?
That's funny because I really don't know. We have 13,000 followers, and this is okay. So this is what they tweeted 2 hours ago, as a matter of fact. Well, actually, no, they tweeted this a few days ago.
My Twitter's messing up on my Android.
Yeah.
Is it working on your phone?
Yeah, it's working on mine. But this is what it says. Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. John Moxley, will begin appearing on indie shows. WWE helped Moxley with the cinematic jailbreak video. So apparently you talk about it was good production. I'm glad you brought it up.
Great production.
Because, of course, we know WWE's production is just spectacular.
Yeah.
And apparently they helped Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. John Moxley, put this video together, and this is what it says. The current plan is for him to take a hiatus from WWE and return to WWE as John Moxley. Now, that is according to Slice Wrestling on Twitter, and we'll see what happens. A lot of folks are, replying to it. Smoke and Mirrors, he'll be back in WWE soon. Mox coming to WWE, LMFAO, that's a good one, and people... Like I said, people take it with a grain of salt. Now, where John Moxley is going to show up, I have no idea.
Didn't you say you heard that AEW offered him a boat ton of money?
Yeah, that was back whenever I think the rumors or the speculation came out that Dean was going to leave WWE. Apparently something came out that said AEW had a contract for Dean Ambrose, and it was worth $6 million a year. That's a lot. And that would be more than Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins make. So
yeah.
his Shield brothers.
Like combined, right?
Well, I don't know. Roman probably...
I'm sure with what he makes on royalties on all his merch, I'm pretty sure.
Between Seth and Roman, I would like to think combined they make a little bit more than $6 million a year.
Yeah.
Because, those are two of the biggest names in their company right now. So, but apparently John Moxley's back. Don't know other than, the whole video thing, what's going to happen with John Moxley, but... According to Slice Wrestling, he's going to go do some indie stuff.
But you know what? That's what you thought, too, because we talked about it right when the video released the next day.
Yeah.
And you had said, what if they're just going to bring him back? I forget what timeline you said.
As John Moxley?
Yeah, as John Moxley. And I was like, why would they do that? He's a huge star. Why would they give him a new name?
And then WWE's famous for giving people new names.
Yeah, but not their top guys.
Well, of course, at one time, you had Mick Foley was coming out as 3 different people, and then you have the War Machine Viking Experience Raiders, whatever the hell you want to call them now.
Yeah, but they're not top guys. I mean, Mick Foley was. Guys.
Yeah, Mick Foley was. You guys that got Cesaro got his name changed. Big E got his name changed. Who else? Mustafa Ali just got his name changed. So
Yeah, but they keep it around the same.
And now look at and Bray Wyatt's basically being repackaged for the time being as a kids, TV show host or something, which he's going to come back as some sinister character at some point, probably even more sinister than he was before. So WWE certainly, and then they repackaged. Look at Booker T. They repackaged him as King Booker. But it's still the same name. Like they're still keeping it around the same. Yeah, but. And I don't know. It's going to be. I
hope he goes to AEW.
I partially hope he does too, but I don't know. It's. I really don't know what's going to happen. So I'm just waiting to find out. According to Slice Wrestling, he's going to go do some indie shows and come back to WWE at some point. But whether or not, he could come back to WWE in 3 years. He may not necessarily come back in 6 months, but
yeah, I love the John Moxley character. That he did in the Indies. It's like some hard street kid who just likes to fight.
And I tell you
he
what,
just doesn't care.
And he's been John Moxley's been in some bloodbaths, to say the least. If anybody has not seen any of John Moxley stuff pre WWE, that dude was. We talk about Mick Foley. He was like the new Mick Foley. Yeah. That dude would. He didn't care. It was bust him wide open, hardcore matches, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, John Moxley would dump a lot of blood for a $50 booking.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, John Moxley, the video came out as soon as the calendar hit May, and we'll see what happens with John Moxley. We'll be sure to follow that story and develop it as it goes.
And one thing that I brought up was, obviously, New Japan is looking for some new star power.
Yeah.
And then he could wrestle there. Just at their big events and make like a few appearances on their house shows like Chris Jericho did and make tons of money and barely work.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's going to want to go across the world to do that. Of course, if they throw money at him, maybe so. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Like I said, it's a very tricky situation because a lot of people at this point are expecting him to go back to WWE. And, if Slice Wrestling is correct about WWE helping Dean Ambrose with that production of that video, which, like you said, it's great production. Unless Dean hires somebody else to do it.
Well, maybe that was a solid because, if this is true, maybe that was a solid because they were like, you know what? You've done well for us.
Yeah.
You've made us a lot of money. You showed up every night except for when you were injured and you couldn't. Yeah. But you know what I mean? You treated us right, so we're gonna give you this.
Yeah, so, and that's what we call leaving on good terms.
Yeah.
So maybe he's leaving on good terms, but a lot of people are just, reacting to it very weirdly. It's like, WWE knows he's leaving. They kept him on TV until his last little bit of, and then now he's helping them with the production of this new character to go off and do other bookings and stuff. It doesn't quite make sense to me, and I can understand why to other people it doesn't really make sense, but I don't know. That's the thing. I really don't know. Nobody really knows. We've seen the video. Other than that, we don't have much to work with. So we'll see what happens with John Moxley, if he returns to WWE, if he goes to AEW, maybe he goes to New Japan, like you said. Who knows? Right now, it seems like he's pretty much open to whatever.
AEW is the way to go, dude. They're going to pay for everything and your health insurance.
Yeah, you're right. Now, I don't know if he has a 90-day no-compete clause that he's going through right now.
Yeah, just stay at the house. The wife is still going to make money.
Yeah, just, let Renee come home. And
I wonder when her contract runs out.
I don't know, but I don't see her going, anywhere else. ESPN wanted Renee Young, and
that's got to be the worst, though. Obviously, they're not in the same company anymore. He's never going to see her.
I don't know. That's why, and that's partially why I don't think he's going to go overseas anywhere.
I'd take that $6 million and say, look, go ahead and quit. Just travel around with me.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, AEW would pay Renee Young a lot of money to be like an interviewer. But they already have somebody, Alicia Atout or something.
Yeah, but she's no Renee Young. Let's be honest.
She's not bad to look at, though. I tell you what. All right, let's move on now to some other news. Leo Rush has been in some hot water, so to speak. Apparently, he had an incident with Finn Balor. I've read reports that apparently, he has his wife apparently always on the road with him now, and that's causing some problems. And then, I don't know, apparently he feels like he's bigger than the business. That's what I'm getting from the stuff that I'm reading about Leo Rush.
Did you read the Fightful interview?
I did not, but did you read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead. That's what I wanted to kind of cover. I didn't get a chance to read it, but I know you did. So kind of go through what did that interview entail?
Essentially, he said that someone in WWE has not liked him from the jump, and they're sending out fake news to get him fired. He said there's no heat with him and Finn. His wife has never been an issue. And he said that essentially this dude is just trying to get him fired. Whoever that person is.
Oh, so they didn't say who the guy was?
No, he didn't name drop him.
So somebody, did he say, if it was a high-ranking official in WWE? Or?
No. I mean, he still wants his job.
Yeah,
he's not going to say that. But he said he felt like he had to defend himself because all this wrong information was coming out. He said he is concerned about the fact that he's not making any money from merchandise sales that on Bobby Lashley's merchandise that has his catchphrases on it.
Yeah.
He said he's not making enough money to support his family. He's got 2 kids and a wife at home. He says with his expenses on the road, he's barely got any money left.
Yeah, well, Mark Henry had some interesting comments about Lio Rush on Busted Open Radio earlier this week. And basically what, Mark Henry's been around a long time. Mark Henry knows the way it goes. And apparently he said the last time he saw Lio Rush, he approached him and said, I'm hearing some things, in the locker room. Is everything good? And Lio Rush said, yeah, everything's fine. And Mark Henry was like, well, that was a blatant lie. Apparently there are some issues. And he said, there's some issues. You got any questions? Now's the time to ask. And Lio Rush just shrugged it off, said, no, man, no problems here at all and whatnot. So, Mark Henry had those comments about Lio Rush, wasn't very positive about it, but and then he was talking about, the money situation. He said, dude, if you can't afford or rent a car, you need to, rethink your spending because apparently Mark Henry was there. Mark Henry back in the, in the 90s, I'm sure was doing the same thing, probably in the same situation that Lio Rush was in.
They gave him a fat contract right off the jump, though.
Yeah, well, now let's be honest. WWE, the money that they were making in the 90s is nothing compared to the money they're making right now.
Right.
And probably the money that they were giving Mark Henry, granted back then things like gas were much cheaper, but certainly what Mark Henry made back then.
Yeah, Mark Henry wasn't making an average intro salary.
No, he wasn't. So, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Lio Rush. He wasn't on Monday Night Raw with Bobby Lashley. So I don't know. And apparently he was there. He was at Raw, but they didn't use him on TV. So I don't know what's going on with Lio Rush. Apparently, he's one of the he's one of the new guys, and they're expected, as the new guys to pay your dues, carry bags for somebody or this and that. And apparently Lio Rush is not wanting to do that, and that might be drawing some heat from some of the boys in the locker
definitely.
room.
It's kind of like in the NFL. If you're a rookie, you carry people's pads.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
It's just the way
you
to
buy
pay your dues. Yeah.
meals.
Yep.
That's what you do. And he said something about that in the Fightful interview as well. He said, if I'm trying to, if my character is a superstar, then how does it look for a young black kid to be carrying everybody's bags off the bus when all these fans are waiting there for us?
Yeah.
He's like, I can't portray myself as a superstar like that.
Yeah, you're right, and I agree with that. So, I don't know. It's another weird situation as far as Lio Rush goes. He's saying that there's no heat, this and that, but then again, maybe he's saying that the cover is on butt. I don't know, but he wasn't on Raw Monday. And wasn't he originally supposed to be just on 205 Live, and then he got stuck with he didn't get stuck with Lashley, but if I'm Lio Rush and they're going to say, hey, we're going to put you with Bobby Lashley, I'm like, oh, awesome. Hell yeah, I'd love to be with Bobby Lashley, be his mouthpiece and whatnot. So I don't know what they're going to do with Lio Rush. Some people are, there's rumors out there, maybe he's requesting a release from WWE, this and that. I don't know. So it's another one of those stories we're just going to have to keep following. But right now it looks like Lio Rush, his status with WWE could possibly be up in the air because he was not on Monday Night Raw. So
yeah. Now, I don't know if you remember us talking about this, Patrick, but his last indie match, he took a slam off a ladder into a table and he no-selled it.
Lio Rush?
Yeah. And I
we
remember
haven't talked about that. No, you haven't talked about that with me.
Yeah, we did. We talked about it when he got signed to WWE.
Well, maybe so. That was.
I need to get you some ginkgo.
That was a while back. I forget. I'm very forgetful.
But at the time, I was like, man, look at this kid. How do you do that? Like, obviously, if somebody slams you through the table off the top of a ladder, you need to sell it.
Yeah, like, you're done. Like, that's it. Like,
that's when I knew he had a big head, and he thought he was too big for the business, and he thought he was the man.
Yeah.
So I can see how he will probably be that in real life and rub people the wrong way.
Yeah, it's possible. So, but we'll keep track of this Leo Rush situation.
Yeah.
He wasn't on Monday Night Raw with Bobby Lashley.
They're going to rush you back to the Indies.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Another superstar that we don't know his status right now with WWE is Luke Harper. Luke Harper was injured for a little while. He came back, finally made a TV appearance at WrestleMania in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. After that, the reports are saying that he was supposed to have a feud with Sami Zayn, which could have been one heck of a feud if you ask me. And apparently that idea was dropped before it even made it to TV. And that right there basically is what made Luke Harper want to request his release. And also when they had the Superstar Shakeup, they were trying to figure out, well, what brand is Luke Harper going to go to? And I think somebody back there said they didn't want to put him on any brand.
Dang.
They had no plans to use him. So therefore, Luke Harper's like, hey, then release me if you're not going to use me.
Sit home and get that Zack Ryder check.
Yes, release me if you're not. Because Luke Harper is a guy who's very passionate about wrestling. He wants to go out there and he wants to shine. I mean, he made a big deal out of having the WrestleMania Access match with that, was it Doke? I don't even remember the guy's
Some weird
name.
name.
It's a guy in NXT.
NXT, yeah.
But he basically called that his WrestleMania moment. And I mean, a guy like Luke Harper putting so much, into just a WrestleMania Access match, you can tell that he has a lot of passion for pro wrestling. And if this guy goes anywhere else, I mean, he's not a huge name, but he's a name. He's a well-known name because he spent his last 5-6 years in WWE. He was one of the original members of NXT, and he ran with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family for the longest time. He's not necessarily a big name, but he's a well-known name. I guarantee if he shows up at AEW, 90% of the people in the audience would know who he is.
Yeah.
So, and at the end of the day, if they know who you are, I mean, that's half the battle, So,
yeah.
But we'll see. If they're not letting him out of his release in WWE. So
and supposedly they've added days to it.
I guess I don't know if it was because of they added it because of injuries.
Yeah,
or
because of
like that.
stuff that he's missed.
Yeah. So
now I think he said that about the WrestleMania Access match because he was like, okay, let me say the right stuff so I can get put back into the picture.
Yeah.
I don't want to piss anybody off.
Yeah.
And I think if I was Luke Harper, and he's been in some pretty big programs, obviously with being in the Wyatt family and being with the Bludgeon Brothers and stuff like that, you want to bring me back and put me in a program with a dude that you've buried since he came back? Like Sami Zayn and KO were some of the biggest programs they were running before they got hurt.
Yeah, you're right.
And then they come back, nothing.
And hell, those two guys, as far as Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, before they got to WWE, they were,
hottest stars on the Indies.
Yeah, they were on the Indies. I mean, they were big fish in little ponds. And then you get to the oversaturated company that is WWE, and eventually, Now, Kevin Owens is in the WWE title picture right now, but Sami Zayn, of course, Sami Zayn's been hurt, and he's just kind of coming back, and his gimmick is really unusual. Mm-hmm. I kind of like it because he's going out there and he's calling out the fans for being entitled. And I was like, that actually makes sense because the fans are always like, we want this, we want that, we want this, and we want that. I mean, it's true. And Sami Zayn's coming out there and he's like, I'm going to come out here and, you guys want to criticize us. I'm going to come out here and criticize you every week.
Yep.
And I kind of like that. And apparently he's writing his own promos. They're letting him write those promos. So
that's what Kevin said, like in his shoot interview. He said, like, Sami Zayn is a wrestling genius.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he was El Generico for the longest time, and El Generico was like one of the hottest things on the Indies, if not the hottest thing on the Indies. So, but a Sami Zayn Luke Harper feud, in my opinion, would have been great because those two guys can go, man. Those two, and you take those two guys and you say, go in the ring, do whatever you want.
Yeah, but it would have been a dead end. It wouldn't have had any payoff.
Yeah, it wouldn't have had a payoff, and you got to build it up, obviously, but certainly, and there's ways to build up stuff like this, but of course now, sometimes you can build a story in the ring, bell to bell.
And then Luke doesn't do much talking.
No, he doesn't.
So how would they build that up?
I don't know. Like I said, with those two guys, they're so good in the ring, you can tell the story without even talking. You can tell the story in the ring. And Sami Zayn's great on the mic. I'm not going to lie. Sami Zayn is wonderful on the mic. And I think it could be one of those things where Sami Zayn's talking all this mess and Luke Harper's just looking at him, and then boom, a big boot, and I'm gonna shut you up. Like, I'm not gonna talk to you and tell you to shut up. I'm gonna make you shut up by shoving my boot in your face. So, and that's always the kind of, Luke Harper has always been that kind of character. He doesn't need to talk because he's just a big presence, and he can just go in there and big boot you and shut you up like that. So, but Luke Harper requested his release. He's not getting it. He's getting more dates added. So we'll see if they do something with Luke Harper down the line.
Right on.
One more update on a superstar, Daniel Bryan. We have not seen him since WrestleMania. A lot of folks talking about he got hurt in his match with Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania. And, of course, we know the history with Daniel Bryan getting hurt. But some good news. Wrestling Observer Now says that he was at TV on Tuesday in Ohio. So he was there. And they believe that he will be written back onto the show or back onto TV probably in the next week or in the upcoming weeks. So we'll see.
He getting that special rehab at home. I don't know if he's going to want to come back.
But he's, you say that, but when he came back a year ago, he agreed that he had to do like special testing after every single one of his matches. So he's getting like special concussion protocol, whatever you want to call it. He's getting, looked at probably a lot closer than, most other guys, if not every other guy that has a match. He's definitely there. He's under a microscope, certainly, as far as his head injuries go. So they're definitely keeping him under a microscope. Better safe than sorry, because WWE does not want to mess with them concussions with that big lawsuit that they had from all the people with the head concussions and all that, the CTE and all that stuff. WWE, the last thing they want to deal with is more lawsuits, so they're very, very cautious with their, with the head injuries, and I think ultimately that is why WWE. I kind of thought about this a while back and never really said anything, but I feel like that's the reason why WWE, their bell-to-bell wrestling has not been as how can I say the word I'm looking for, exciting, so to speak, in certain ways, because they probably want them to be more, extra careful in the ring because they don't want to have to deal with all these concussions and whatnot. Daniel Bryan's a prime example of that. Like all these other doctors around the country were clearing Daniel Bryan. Meanwhile, the WWE doctors were like, "No, man, we want to make, if you're gonna get back in that ring, we want to make sure that like you're good to get back in that ring. Like we wanted to leave no doubts." Mm-hmm. So that right there should have, showed you that WWE's not playing around when it comes to head injuries. But Daniel Bryan seems to be fine. He was at the TV tapings on Tuesday in Columbus, I think, was where they were, or somewhere, wherever they were. Yeah. But he was there, and he's expected to be written back onto TV, if not this week, in the next couple of weeks. So.
Now, I just want to make sure we're on the same wavelength. I was talking about that special care from Brie Bella RN.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Well, you went straight to like the WWE doctors, and I was like,
I know exactly
what's going on.
I just had nothing to say.
Is this guy not living the gimmick anymore?
I just had nothing to say about it. Like, don't get me wrong, Brie Bella's hot, and she can take care of me anytime she wanted to if she wanted to divorce Daniel Bryan. But I feel like it was almost expected for me to say something, but I really had nothing. I really had nothing to add to that. When you said that, it made me think of the other things. Yeah, I don't get me wrong.
Well, you glossed over it so quick. I was like, okay, maybe he didn't get what I was saying.
No, I completely got what you were saying. So. I got what you were saying, but for some reason I had nothing to contribute to that. So
gotcha.
That's what it was. All right, let's go now to, of course, Money in the Bank is in a couple of weeks. We'll have our Money in the Bank preview show. We'll be filling out the scorecards. And let's see here. I got to pull it up real quick. It is the Money in the Bank. Of course, they're going to have the men's and the women's ladder matches. There's also a rumor that it's going to be an NXT Money in the Bank ladder match, too. Okay. I don't know if that has been – I don't think that has been announced yet. But let me pull up here the Money in the Bank ladder match participants here. If I can pull up here real quick. It's going to take
may.
Yeah, it's just going to take me a second here. Okay, Money in the Bank 2019. That's what I'm looking for.
We're like in a data dead spot right here.
No, well, I mean, here we go. Okay, so the Money in the Bank ladder match, it's the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. You have Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton.
Of course.
And right now, I don't know who's going to win, but I'm going to tell you the man who should win this match, and that is Drew McIntyre. I believe Drew McIntyre should win this because, first of all, I feel like he's at the point now where, I think he's ready to be WWE champion. The dude's a tremendous heel. The dude has a great look. He's great on the mic. To me, right now, he's like the overall, like he has everything. That's just my opinion. He should win it. I can see Braun Strowman winning it again. Also, Ricochet's in there, too. Maybe Ricochet, I feel like they may want to put all their eggs in a basket for Ricochet. And if you want to do that, give this man the money.
Let's go.
Give that man the Money in the Bank briefcase. Also, Finn Balor. Andrade would be another one. A guy that I think they want to maybe at some point put all their eggs in that basket. Give him the Money in the Bank briefcase, and who knows? So, I don't know, but certainly I don't want to see Baron Corbin win. I don't want to see Randy Orton win. Mustafa Ali, I wouldn't mind seeing him win.
Are you jumping off the Ali train?
I'm not jumping off the Ali train, but I feel like there's other guys in here, like especially Drew McIntyre, that deserve it more than Ali at this point.
Ali's probably just there to do the high spots.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's going to be fun watching Ali in a ladder match.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to see him and Ricochet face off. That would be fun right there, I tell you what. So those are the men in the men's Money in the Bank briefcase
can I tell you
matches.
who I hope wins?
Go ahead, tell me.
Baron Corbin.
That's a dog-faced lie right there. If that ain't a lie, I don't know what is.
No, I'm on Team Ricochet as well.
You on Team Ricochet?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Ricochet win. That's for sure. Now, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, you have Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, and Carmella. Now, you might be a little upset because the Queen's not in it, because I think it was expected that she would be in it. Maybe she'd lose to Becky Lynch, the SmackDown Women's Champion, and then go win the Money in the Bank briefcase, but that's not going to be the case, unless for some reason, she gets put into the match late, which we know how that's been done before, as far as Charlotte being put into matches late. But I'm looking at this list right here, and I'm going to tell you who I think should win this match. I think it should be Ember Moon. I really like Ember Moon. She's, as talented of a woman wrestler as they got in WWE. She's been hurt a little bit, but she also has one of the best finishing moves with the Eclipse. Basically, she jumps off the turnbuckle and it's like a stunner.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good move. Dana Brooke is an interesting one because Dana Brooke is very athletic. She looks different now, though. She kind of has like a different look. Did she get her lips done?
I don't know.
It looks like she looks like a duck face now.
Uh-oh.
To me, she looks like she has a duck face. Like with her lips, just her lips, really. I don't know if she got them worked on or what.
Quite possibly.
But, Dana Brooke, I don't know. To me, she's like the dark horse to win this match for some reason. I just have a feeling about Dana Brooke. I don't think Natalya's going to win it. I don't think Naomi's going to win it. Alexa Bliss, that's another one I could see winning. Bayley, nah. Mandy Rose, no. Carmella already was the first one. She's not going to win it again. But Ember Moon, to me, I feel like, that would be a big splash to give her the Money in the Bank briefcase. I think her and Ricochet would be the two big splashes, in my opinion, because neither one of them have held any championship on the main roster, and I don't think anybody would really see it coming. I think a lot of people are probably going the Alexa Bliss route. Maybe some people going the Natalya route. I think other people might be going the Naomi route because Naomi's done a lot of things. She's never won Money in the Bank. But right now, I think the odds-on favorite would be Alexa. But I think Ember Moon should win this match. But of course, we're gonna we'll see what happens.
Well, from what we heard a few weeks ago in the rumor mill, apparently the reason why they broke up Absolution was so that Mandy Rose can win the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, and a lot of folks are upset that Mandy Rose is in this match and not Sonya Deville. So I did see a lot of folks that were upset about that, and I agree. I think you should take Carmella out because she won it already and put Sonya Deville in there.
Yeah.
And
maybe Sonya Deville will take her out and say, give me her spot.
Maybe. That is a possibility. So that's the two Money in the Bank ladder matches. Men's and women's participants have been announced. So there you go. And then just kind of giving you, we'll have our official winners, of course, in a couple of weeks on our Money in the Bank preview show. But just wanted to kind of talk about the participants, who we could, make a case for some people that could win.
Right on.
So, all right, it is now time for the segment you did with Ryan Boman. You guys talked about
right.
TNA Impact, or whatever you want to call it, Rebellion.
Yeah.
That happened a week ago, so you ready to go ahead and hop onto that?
Hit it, Chris!
Let's do this.
And live on the CBD4U.net hotline, we have Ryan K Boman. He has written for the Miami Herald, SB Nation, One Wrestling. He is the current editor-in-chief at the GorillaPosition.com. Ryan, how's it going?
Pretty good. When you say all those things, it makes it sound like I might have accomplished something in this life. So I appreciate the introduction.
Hey, you're on the right path, kid. Definitely you are, I would have to say, an insider when it comes to Impact. You have a lot of relationship with Impact Wrestling. They just had a big pay-per-view, so I wanted to get you on the show for us to talk about Impact for about 15 to 20 minutes.
Outstanding. They did have the Rebellion pay-per-view was fantastic this weekend, and always happy to talk about the folks at Impact.
So let's.
I don't know if I'm an in-law or an outlaw with that family, but they accept me sometimes.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about Impact itself. It seems that when Dixie Carter got her kung fu grip off of this company, that Anthem has really taken it to a way better place. They moved it to Toronto. Now, did they save a lot of money moving the company from Nashville to Toronto?
I don't really know. Obviously they don't share their financial records with me, but I would assume because of Anthem being based in Toronto, I thought where it really plays to their advantage, is they're now the biggest wrestling company in Canada. Which is something that could never be in America, be the number one company. They're the number one wrestling company in Canada now. I mean, I know that doesn't sound like much to say, but in terms of marketing and positioning, and especially for local advertisers and things like that, I think it makes a lot of sense for them to kind of be known as the Canadian wrestling company.
Right, most definitely. And it seems like they've kind of steered the ship and put people in place that actually know wrestling. Man, sky's the limit for this company. They always find great talent. They got intriguing storylines. They're just doing it right up there.
Yeah, they have putting together also a very tremendous women's division at a time when women's wrestling is at a premium. I mean, they have possibly the best female wrestler in the world right now in Tessa Blanchard. So there's a lot of exciting things happening. And you're right, since late 2017 when Anthem took over, and Scott, I think when Scott D'Amore and Don Callis were first put in place, people kind of thought, whatever, where are they digging these guys up from? Not knowing that Don Callis has just a tremendous wrestling IQ, he has a tremendous IQ, period. He's a smart guy. And Scott D'Amore is really unsung as a guy who helped develop a lot of talent in Eastern Canada. That's a lot of that talent that shuffled into the old TNA and now is coming into Impact. So, and having Border City Wrestling there, down in Windsor, it's just like a natural partnership for them. And I think Scott and Don have done a great job.
We got Ryan K. Boman on the CBD4U.net hotline. We're talking Impact Wrestling. Now, speaking of Toronto, they just had a pay-per-view called Rebellion. And from all that I can see on the internet, it went really well. What's some of the key takeaways from the event?
Well, finally, even though he did suffer a bit of an injury, I think the biggest takeaway is that we're going to get to see what Brian Cage does as now the man, the number one guy in Impact. They've been positioning him like that for a while. I see that they brought in Michael Elgin. That's likely going to be the first test for him. I think they match up very well together. A lot of power in that matchup. But yeah, I think the big takeaway for me from Rebellion was that we finally now have Brian Cage where he belongs as the Impact World Champion. He's their franchise guy. He's the guy you can build around. I'm glad to see him coming out of that show with the belt.
Right, and Elgin kind of fell off the map for a little bit after he parted ways with New Japan. Why did he part ways with New Japan, and why is this seen as kind of Elgin's last chance at wrestling in North America?
Well, he's had a lot of issues away from the ring. There was some pretty bad publicity. He didn't do himself a lot of favors outside the ring, and yeah, I do think this is the last go. I think that if he doesn't make this one work, there's going to be a lot of people questioning him. Well, it wasn't Ring of Honor, and it wasn't New Japan, and it wasn't his own company that he even started that he had to sell. It might be just him, and I don't want to cast aspersions on the guy too much, But, I think this is kind of a one and done with him in Impact. I don't know if he's a long-term solution for them or a long-term contender, or if he's just in there to work with Bryan for a match. But, I would say, he's kind of running out of real estate now. And I think at one point he had almost convinced himself that he was going to sign with WWE. And now I think he's with Impact. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but I've heard some people say that they thought he was all but done to go start working in NXT. He shows up in Impact. It was a surprise to me, and I'm supposed to be the Impact insider.
And they did a good job keeping it tight-lipped.
They did a great smokescreen on that one, and honestly, it stunned me. So I mean, they got the desired effect. It surprised me. It shocked a lot of people that Mike turned up in Impact. But again, if you're looking for a guy that can go with Cage in the ring and come up with some pretty intriguing maneuvers, some power, some suplexes, power bombs, things that these guys are going to pull out of their hat, I think that makes an intriguing matchup. I think those two can blow the doors off of a pay-per-view.
Right, and not only are they big powerhouses, but they're very athletic as well, and they can do some stuff that most big men can't.
Yeah, taking nothing away from Elgin for his size. I mean, he's so compact that he's able to hit some moves that you're almost shocked that a guy his size can pull off. And now he's going to be working in there with a guy who has even greater size and power. It'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
And you touched on a little bit earlier talking about Tessa Blanchard. Now, of course, Gail Kim's last match, she did it in her hometown, so that was a really cool storyline. Was this like a passing of the torch type thing for the knockout torch?
Yeah, I think with Tessa, I talked to Gail the day before the show, the Saturday before the show, and even in the interview, you could tell, she didn't want to put Tessa down too much in the story. She didn't want to talk a lot of trash. She was really complimentary of Tessa, and I think it was Gail coming back and saying, this girl's the real deal. I'm going to do the honors here. And, Gail Kim, I can't say enough. One of the classiest people you'll ever deal with, and it just carried right on over into Sunday.
Another person that, I tell you what, I was sleeping on this dude, and a guy told me 3 months ago that's a friend of the show, shout out to Sean Snee. He told me, this Ace Austin kid is amazing. You need to check him out. I slept on it. I never checked him out. Then I see him in Impact. I still didn't check him out. Then I saw him on YouTube like 3 days ago, and this kid is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, here's the craziest thing about that, because I even publicly said, I don't get it. I saw his first match in Impact, and I said, everybody keeps telling me this kid's just lights out amazing, and I don't see it. I've only got to see him a couple times in both matches. I just was so underwhelmed, mainly because everybody had hyped him so much to me. And then, like you, I went and did a little more research after some very smart people in the business said to me, no, you'll get it when you see him. You'll get it. Now I get it. He moves very differently. My executive editor, Michael Melcourt, even said that. Watch how he moves in the ring. He moves unlike any other wrestler I've ever seen. And it is definitely different, and you got to kind of catch on to him. But, yeah, I know Impact has a lot of high hopes for Ace Austin.
Yeah, dynamic, high-flying, very quick, and he's got some very cool experimental moves he's pulling out.
And he's got a cool character. He's got the Gambit kind of style character, and
right.
And the ace, the ace of spades, and just if they can, those are the kind of young guys Impact needs to bring in. I'd say open up the floodgates and let a bunch of these young indie stars who are unique like Ace Austin, bring them in, because obviously, in wrestling, there's always constant turnover. I love the idea that Impact is kind of leaning more towards a youth movement.
Now, Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. took a big L at the pay-per-view, Rebellion. Now, are they going to still be able to work with Impact after AEW launches here in a few weeks?
I believe there is some arrangements being made, a working agreement. I think AEW is pretty open about working agreements with the other companies. I know that obviously Impact and MLW have worked together in the past. I think the only conflict would be with Impact working with anybody. Might be Ring of Honor, but they've had some work with them before too. They've done some things together before too. So I really think, as far as Impact is concerned, it's an open door policy to work with anybody. And I think that, I don't know anybody at All Elite, but I would assume that that's probably going to be their style too, because they're making concessions so that guys can go work other shows. The guys they're bringing in have arrangements with other companies also. So I think AEW, I think everybody's going to be pretty open to working with each other except WWE.
Right, and I know New Japan and Ring of Honor are like, nah, we're going to stay to ourselves. We're not really looking to work with AEW at this moment. Impact tried to sell Cody the company. That didn't work out. So and of course, there's rumblings about them wanting a partnership with talent and stuff like that. I think it would work out amazingly, because who wouldn't want Tessa Blanchard on their show? Who wouldn't want Brian Cage on their show?
Yeah, those are your two franchise players right there in the company. I mean, I see Brian as that long-term babyface champion, and I see Tessa as the long-term heel champion, somebody that Jordan Grace is going to chase. You know, I compare those two a lot to Flair and Sting. You know, you got the young powerhouse in Jordan, and Tessa's this smooth, and of course she's still young too, but that smooth operator. She's just such a pro in the ring. I think those two could have a great rivalry for a lot of years.
Who are some of the young wrestlers we should look out on the Impact roster?
You know what? I wish I could tell you, because everybody shuffles in and out so much, but hey, you did name one in Ace Austin. I can't say enough. You brought up the match, the Pentagon and Phoenix match. Can't say enough about the guys from LAX and just what they mean. I know they're not considered young. They are still young, but for the company, they're veterans. Mm-hmm. You know, and they're kind of as I told Trey Miguel last week, I said, you're one of the old heads now, man. You know, you look around, everybody else is 23 or 24. And, but just that match is that matchup, those four guys together is really, it's magic when they're in the ring together. And I got to see that live at Homecoming in Nashville. I'm glad to see, I'm glad to see those guys back with the belts, and I'm sad to see Phoenix and Pentagon going soon, because we know they're going to head to All Elite Wrestling. But I'm just those four guys. That match that I saw at Homecoming might be the best match I've ever watched live. In my 30 years or so of doing this, it just blew me away. And I'm sure at Homecoming, at Rebellion, the people there live were probably blown away too.
Right. We recently got the news that the Chris brothers re-signed with Impact Wrestling. I got to be honest with you. I'm an OVE mark. Love these dudes. And now with the new addition of Fulton, they look unstoppable. Do you think that, obviously Sammy at one time was one of the hottest things in professional wrestling. You couldn't turn anywhere without the Bat story going on. Do you think they ran that for all it was worth? Or do you think they could have done more to propel Sammy to another level?
I got to be honest. I've been saying this, and I love Sammy. He's a good dude, and he works hard. That guy is a hustler. He lives, breathes, eats wrestling. I mean, he is an absolute pro. But I got to be honest. The one I've always said is the real star is Jakey. I think Jake Christ is one of the funniest people. I mean, he can just talk and make about anything. And I laugh. I mean, I'm talking about off the air, like just in interviews and stuff. I think he's one of the most engaging, funny people I've ever talked to in my life. And I'm like, somebody hand this guy a microphone and let him talk. I love the Chris brothers. I love what they do. I like what Sammy does. Now, I don't know if they've ran the gamut on that, but I definitely think they need to do something crazy. You know, again, maybe not bash anybody's face with a baseball bat for real, but something crazy to get the crowd's attention again.
Could we see a Chris Brothers podcast on the Roar Network?
Oh, I would love that. I'd just give it to Jake. I wouldn't even talk. I would just let Jake talk for an hour, and then we'd can that. Wouldn't even have to have a subject. He's just again. I give those guys all the credit in the world. Not only are they doing a lot for Impact, they do a lot on the indie scene. They've helped a lot of guys, not just in Ohio. I mean, they're up in Iowa. They're down in Tennessee. I mean, Kentucky. Those guys have really put in the work, not on television, that untelevised work that has helped a lot of people. Sammy's been a mentor to quite a few people. You wouldn't think it, you think he's wild and crazy and all that in the character, but really outside, those three guys, and Sammy in particular, really, really helped pull some people along and bring them up to their level, which is really what the business is all about.
Exactly. And let's talk about some people that have departed Impact here recently. Here at the show, we're big fans of Allie, and she just got signed by AEW. If you were booking for AEW, what gimmick would you give Allie, and how would you book her?
Well, I'm assuming she's going to continue to use the name Allie. I don't think Impact enforces that the people can't use their stage name. So she may stay Allie. She may go back to being Cherry Bomb. As you know, she's one of my favorite people in all of wrestling. Mm-hmm. I think she's just a sweetheart of a person, and I was so happy that she's going to get this opportunity because I think All Elite will make her the star, the stunner and the star that Impact wasn't able to for whatever reason. She just seems like she's waiting to be that face of a company, and it could be AEW. I mean, as far as in the ring, it's been a while since I haven't really seen her wrestle much. In the last few months, she hasn't done a lot of wrestling. So depending on who they have on the roster, do I automatically make her the champion right off the bat? Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. Depends on who you have around her and who she's going to be working with. But I think she has the charisma. She's obviously beautiful, and she's got skills, man. She knows she's got camera skills, as I like to say. There's certain people that when they're on screen, people got to look at them. They've got to watch. And she has that presence. So I think she's a great fit for AEW.
Talking about knockouts and women performers, there was a lot of lead up to Scarlett Bordeaux and her wrestling and Impact. What do you think about the way they're booking her?
I'm confused a little bit by it, honestly, because I don't know. I know that she can actually wrestle, and I know that she has been a wrestler in the past. But they brought her in more of like that Sable type role, just the hottie role, so to speak. And I thought that worked for her. I liked the smoke show thing. I thought, she's got an audience. I mean, and I can tell you right now, we pull one clip from Impact every week, from every show every week, just one of the highlight clips they put up. The Scarlett Bordeaux clips got more views than any match, anything we would put up. If we put her picture up, people would click on it because, let's be honest, she's pretty striking, and the stuff she was doing was unique. It was kind of bizarre and out there and different, and it was funny. It was some funny, entertaining stuff. So I like her in that role. As far as I'm concerned, she doesn't even have to wrestle. I think she's good for the company either way.
Most definitely. And Scarlett Bordeaux, the 2018 hottest woman in wrestling in our tournament, by the way.
Really? She won it, huh?
Yeah, she got all the way.
That's some stiff competition. No pun intended.
It was, and there were some shocking votes that got her there, but she was able to, as Jeff Jarrett said, climb the mountain.
Well, she's beautiful and charming, and she's again another person that when they're on screen, people are going to pay attention for whatever reason. I know that wrestling's changed a lot, but it's still kind of a guy's thing. And guys like pretty women on wrestling. And I mean, and she is definitely one of the most beautiful women out there.
Well, Ryan,
according to you guys, she is the most beautiful woman. It's been settled.
Yeah, according to us, and the listeners had a vote as well. So they helped us along the way. Well, Ryan Boman, thank you so much. Where can everybody find the GorillaPosition.com on the World Wide Web?
On the World Wide Web, well, obviously at thegorillaposition.com. You can find us at TGP Web. Yeah, it's TGP Web on Twitter. You can find me at Ryan K Boman on Twitter and Ryan K Boman on Facebook. My Facebook page is always interesting. There's some lively conversations that take place there.
Yes, there are. The one I saw today, I was mouth wide open. I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
Ryan throwing it down.
Sometimes I talk too much.
And then the comment you had about Shane had me rolling.
Yeah, the Monday Night Raw stuff and SmackDown, just throwing in little jokes. I try not to overly criticize stuff. I try not to get too worked up about storylines and scripts. But when I see stuff that's just silly, I got to say something.
Well, definitely subscribe to the Gorilla Position on all your social media platforms. They're also on YouTube as well. Just check out the Gorilla Position.
Thank you. You guys always have a great show, and we love you.
Always awesome when Ryan K Boman can join the show. Look,
Absolutely.
We're going to have to let our radio listeners go. We're up against the clock here on, I forgot the call letters.
KEZM.
KEZM. Sorry, Bruce. KEZMonline.com. If you're listening to us right now here in Southwest Louisiana or on the website, make sure you go to our Facebook page, our Twitter page, at The Average Marks. Click the new episode. We're going to have some extra content on the podcast itself, but because we're up against the clock, we have to let our radio listeners go. Again, follow us everywhere that we are at The Average Marks, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We'll be live streaming again next week.
Yep.
We've had some, stuff that we've had to attend, like a celebrity go-kart match and all that kind of stuff. So we had to get in and get out on this one. But we just want to let you know live streaming is coming back next week, and we're looking forward to it because you're going to be trying Bang energy drink for the first time.
Yes, absolutely. I have not tried it yet, so I'm waiting for the podcast to do it.
And if you want to hear the podcast early every week, go to patreon.com/theaveragemarks. Glorified Jobber. It's $3 a month. It helps support us, helps keep this content going, and you get to listen to the podcast early on Saturday every single week. All right, Patrick, get us out of here.
Outro.
All right, we're back here on the podcast. Had to let those radio listeners go because it's just like Fight TV. You got a hard deadline that you got to meet, Patrick.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't go past it.
You're right, and we tried to squeeze it all in, but there's just so much to talk about and whatnot. But what we're going to do now is we're going to switch gears. We've been talking about WWE, and then we, of course, talked about Rebellion. Let's talk a little bit about New Japan Pro Wrestling. The last couple of nights. The last couple of nights, Wrestling Dantaku took place, and we're not going to give you the spoilers, but if you were unaware of Wrestling Dantaku, it was 2 big nights in New Japan. Let me pull it up here. Where's it at? Here we go. Okay, so the first night was on Friday. A couple of big matches here. I'm going to go ahead and just highlight the big matches. Special tag match. Tomohiro Ishii and Kazuchika Okada took on Evil and Sonata. Jeff Cobb also defended his never openweight championship against Taichi, and then the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship was on the line. Dragon Lee, who actually won at G1 Supercard of Honor, defended against, basically it was like a rematch. Taiji Ishimori, who lost the belt at G1 Supercard, fought Dragon Lee. And then on night 2, here if I can pull it up, here we go. You had a special singles match. Tomohiro Ishii took on Evil. And then also another, let's see. This one was very interesting. I'm not going to give away who this was, but Will Ospreay and Dragon Lee took on Taiji Ishimori and what they called X. So, and then also the IWGP Heavyweight Championship was on the line. Kazuchika Okada, his first defense since winning it at G1. He defended it against Sonata. So to find out who won that, we have the results. They're up at on our Facebook page. And
Facebook and Twitter.
Facebook and Twitter. So we don't want to give it away now, but for those of you guys who haven't gotten around to watching it yet, you can still go watch it without knowing what it is. But if you want to go see who won, just go to our Facebook and Twitter pages. We have the results there. And also coming up, New Japan in, let's see, a little over a week from now. Let's see, where's that? Okay, a little over a week from now, starting on May the 13th, which is next Monday. It will be the Best of the Super Juniors, and now I'm going to pull up the Best of the Super Juniors. Let's see. I had it ready, but then I had to go look at the Money in the Bank. So, Best of the Super Juniors, of course, is basically like, the G1 Climax, except it's only junior heavyweights. So, if I can scroll down to 2019, I'll just tell you who the participants are here. That's going to get going, again, a week from tomorrow on May the 13th. Here are the confirmed entrants: Bandito, Bushi, Dragon Lee, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, or maybe he is, maybe he isn't, after Wrestling Dantaku. El Desperado, Flip Gordon, Jonathan Gresham, Marty Scurll, Robbie Eagles, Rocky Romero, Ryusuke Taguchi, Shingo Takagi, Sho, Taiji Ishimori, Taka Michinoku's in it.
Yeah.
Tiger Mask, Titan. That's not Titan.
No,
that's not him. Will Ospreay's in it. Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Fantasmo. I don't know.
That sounds right.
El Fantasmo, I guess.
Sounds right to me.
So those are the participants. That'll be starting next Monday, and of course that'll take place. That'll go through June the 5th. I think that's when the final is.
Holy cow!
Yeah, June. It's a little less than a month. That's about how long the G1 Climax is.
Jeez.
And of course that'll lead up to Dominion, which will take place on June the 9th. That's another one of New Japan's big shows. So that'll lead up to the to Dominion on June the 9th. So that's what's happening right now in New Japan. And then one more thing before we get out of here. The WWE has announced a new Saudi Arabia show.
Yes.
And it will feature, and I know a lot of folks are not, excited about WWE going back to Saudi Arabia, but You might be less excited if you haven't heard the news yet. Brock Lesnar will be there. Mm-hmm. The Undertaker will be there. And also, Bill Goldberg will be there.
Aha!
Bill Goldberg will be there.
There some rumblings. That's confirmed now?
That is confirmed.
Nice.
Bill Goldberg will be
getting that big payday, probably.
Bill Goldberg will be at the Saudi Arabia show. Now, I think Slice Wrestling also, take it with a grain of salt, also reported this, is that apparently he is slated, and I don't even know if it was Slice Wrestling, it might have been someone else, but apparently, I think it was Slice because everybody was talking about it might be a joke, but apparently he is slated to fight Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship, and apparently he's going to win.
What?
And that will lead to another Goldberg-Brock Lesnar.
Oh, God.
Now, this is according to Slice. This is going to lead to another Brock Lesnar-Goldberg feud, which apparently was requested by Fox because, of course, Fox is going to be on SmackDown.
Kill me.
Yeah, I don't know, because this takes place in June. SmackDown doesn't go to Fox till October, so does that mean Goldberg's going to hold the WWE title, which he's never won, by the way, I don't think. He's only been World Heavyweight Champion, and he's been Universal Champion. He's never won the WWE Championship, I don't believe. So this would be Goldberg's first WWE Championship if he goes on to face Kofi Kingston at the Saudi Arabia show, which has been rumored, and if he wins. So we'll see.
Can you imagine if he wins, how hard that crowd is going to pop? Because they're all about the old dudes.
Oh, yeah, Saudi Arabia is all about, that's why,
they may blow the top off of that stadium.
The Saudi Crown Prince is the longtime WWE fan. He likes all the old guys, and they're forking over money to see all these old wrestlers come back, and,
I wonder how much they're paying Taker.
I would say probably, if it's the same as it was back in November when they went for Crown Jewel, it's probably about either $2 or $3 million just for that one night. It's a lot of money for one night. So, hey, I'll go to Saudi Arabia for one night for $1 million.
Any word on who Taker's going to fight?
No word yet on any matches. They just announced the show, and they just said Taker, Lesnar, and I think also Roman's going to be there too, and which is weird because after the whole leukemia thing, Roman was talking about how he really didn't want to go to, Saudi Arabia. So we'll see if they make him go or what.
Yeah, because you think of, with all the chemo and radiation, or I don't know how they treat leukemia, but I'd imagine it's the same way they treat others.
Similar, yeah.
You would think his immune system's pretty shot, and going overseas with, I guess, different type of ailments that really aren't here in the States that your body's not used to, that could be disastrous.
It could be. So we'll see what happens. I think they did announce Roman Reigns would be there, but of course that's always subject to change. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, June 7th will be, so that's 2 days before Dominion. So that'll be on a Friday, as a matter of fact, which I'm sure will take place at about 4 a.m. our time. Or no. It'll probably take place in the middle of the day. That's normally when they go to Saudi Arabia, those shows take place in the middle of the day. So
I think the other one was around noon or 11. Wasn't it Central Time?
So we'll be hanging out at the office that day watching. So we'll watch Crown. And it's not going to be called Crown Jewel. I don't even know what the title of it is, if they even have one yet. So.
They need to call it Let's Get This Money.
Hell yeah. Money, money, money. You Shane McMahon. Or no, that was the Donald Trump's theme song whenever he was on WWE television. So yeah, Saudi Arabia show, June 7th on the WWE network, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Before we leave, let's talk about one more thing, Patrick.
Okay.
Do you think Ryback has a little bit more street cred as an insider than Slice Wrestling?
Ryback?
Yeah.
I guess it depends because
he's got the whole podcast thing now. He's trying to be us.
Yeah. He saw us doing it, so he decided he wanted to join the fun. I would say, I don't know, because honestly, I'd have to go back and look to see how right Slice Wrestling was on some things.
Because obviously this dude left on bad terms, so how many people are talking to him inside the company?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I figured he wouldn't have any inside information on WWE. Maybe he has inside information on other things.
But this is WWE that he's confirming.
Who? Slice?
Ryback.
Oh, Ryback. What did he confirm about WWE?
So I've seen this on other places too. I thought somebody was messing with the computer over here. Like PW Insider and stuff like that. So Ryback confirmed a report from PW Insider that WWE tells incoming talent to turn over their social media login and password information.
I did see an article about that. Apparently but from what I saw, this might be a new thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So
because obviously they don't want people to shoot their shot like Ty Dillinger did. And then, like, Luke Harper tried.
Yeah. What do you mean shoot their shot?
To try to get out of their contract.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also they don't want, I don't know if you remember what happened with Lana's Snapchat account.
I remember you saying that, yes.
Yeah. So anybody that remembers that there was some some not so PG footage on Lana, and apparently they were hacked, and the people, doing.
Weren't they on Raw? That's the adult show. Come on.
Well, apparently 2 people were having coitus on the Snapchat, but it wasn't Lana or Rusev, and to me, because I saw it, it didn't seem like either one of them. So, and I think stuff like that, WWE's like, hey, give us all your passwords, so that way, for whatever reason, I don't know if they want to have more control over them or what. So,
see, I thought this would have been a thing from the get-go anyway. I thought they would have had a company managing all their stuff anyway.
That's what I thought too, but I don't know. I think they just kind of say, all right, here, y'all take y'all's accounts and do whatever. Don't do this, but
as much as Vince McMahon likes to micromanage and have his say on everything, it's amazing how big social media is, and until now, he was just like, yeah, just run your own social media.
Yeah, I mean,
even though you got millions of fans, just run your own social media.
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem like a Vince McMahon move.
No, but, I mean, Vince has so much stuff to probably keep his eye on outside of that he's probably like, look, I'm going to trust y'all because this is a professional environment. I'm going to trust that y'all are going to handle these like you should.
Yeah.
And, it's gotten to a point now where, when when Ronda and Becky were feuding on Twitter, apparently they kind of went off script and management wasn't happy.
At least Ronda did.
Yeah, well, management wasn't happy with what they had to do, and then the whole thing with Lana. And, of course, Lana's always all over social media, flaunting herself. So maybe between those 2 things and maybe some other things that may have happened, WWE was like, you know what? We're going to have to take over these social media accounts because you guys are kind of being careless with them, So
I wonder if we can get jobs doing that. Just running people's social media.
That would be great. That'd be a great job.
Yeah.
I'd do that all damn day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I wonder if we would be like in Connecticut or we'd be traveling around with the guys that we run there. Like if they give us like
I'd be cool with either.
You'd be working for Raw and you would have 10 guys.
Yeah, I'd be cool with either one. Traveling or staying in the same spot, just working the social media accounts. As long as you're paying me, I don't care.
It's like ultimately you got the decision on what goes on it, but obviously, the performers are going to give you input. Yeah,
and I'm a social media expert, so let me know, WWE, if you're hiring social media account managers. I could definitely do that.
AverageMarks at gmail.com. Hit your boys up.
Absolutely.
You can even Facebook message us.
Yeah.
We get back on the Facebook message pretty promptly.
We have a very good responsive rate. That's all Mike Yo right there.
That's what we do.
The response rate.
This Twitter, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if anybody else is having issues with the Android app of Twitter, but it keeps freezing up on you, boy.
Well, I don't have an Android, so I think that's where your problem is right there.
No, that's not a problem.
You need to get you an iPhone.
No.
You're not an Apple fan?
No. So live stream coming back next week. We're pretty pumped about that.
Yep, we're going to do the Bang energy drink taste test. At least I will do it because you already know what it's going to taste like. So. And if I don't like it, you can just drink the rest of it.
I had a pina colada the other day. There was this smorgasbord of flavors, and I was like, you know what, that pina colada is banging. I got to go with that again.
Yeah, I know you talk highly about that pina colada, so you better bring that pina colada so I can taste it.
Yeah, I'll bring that one, and I'll see it because I know you like the chilled coffee.
Yeah,
so I might see if they have any of those in there.
Yeah, because I'm not I'm more of a chilled coffee kind of guy rather than a fruity guy.
I don't like that, so if you don't like it, we're just gonna throw it away.
You gotta taste that one too, though.
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
I'm gonna drink the other kinds.
I'm trying to get a sponsorship from Bang. I don't want to, go in hard on one of their flavors.
Yeah, you're right.
Tell them how much it sucks.
Well, you can lie.
I could edit it out. That's true.
Yeah, you could.
When we send them the package.
That's right.
But yeah, if you want to hear this episode early, well, I guess you can't because you're listening to it right now.
Yeah.
But next week.
Yeah, for future episodes.
Yeah, future episodes. You can be a glorified jobber on our Patreon page. It's $3 a month. I think most people can swing that.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially what that gives you early access to the podcast.
Yeah.
For $2 more with our B Team tier.
B team, go, go, go.
I need to change the graphic on that and put the B Team on there.
Right? That'd be funny as hell.
Right now, I think I got Rusev on there because he's a mid-carder. But yeah, the B Team tier, it's only $5 a month. And what that does, it gives you early access to the podcast every week on Saturday, but it also gives you exclusive access to Patreon-only audio and video. So when we did the Kim Artlip interview, the video's up there.
Yeah.
When we did, speaking of, we were talking about him earlier, Barrett Brown, video's on there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool stuff on there. And if you want a piece of merchandise every single month from our store, you can go Muda 5.0 with a $50 a month.
Absolutely.
Donation to your boys.
Which you pretty much get everything.
Yeah, you get everything plus a piece of merch every single month.
You get all access, baby.
Yeah. www.patreon.com/TheAverageMarks and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch at TheAverageMarks. Got anything, Patrick?
Nope. I'm all out of thoughts.
Let's get out of here. Go race some go-karts.
Outro.
You've been listening to the Average Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast with Michael Leander and Patrick Fry. All opinions discussed in the show are those of the Average Marks and do not represent any wrestling company, organization, or individual. For more information on the show, follow us on Twitter and iTunes. AMP is a proud member of the Roar Network, powered by thegorillaposition.com.